that this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
As someone who threw the wildest parties and was a mogul in the music industry for more than 3 decades, it's hard to believe that Diddy Hams, the guy whose psalms commanded the charts, has reached rock bottom. It happened in the most stunning way possible. Diddy's glamorous life crashed when he was arrested on charges that stunned the entire world, from being one of the most well-known hip-hop figures to spending years in prison. This was a fall from grace unlike anything else. What's even more unbelievable is that this seemingly untouchable man is now on the verge of going completely insane.
That's not the issue. The issue is it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
His arrest wasn't a small-time event. Law enforcement has been keeping a tight eye on him for some time because of the serious allegations he is facing. After gathering information from a variety of sources, including private conversations, messages, and testimonies from those who had known him, it was determined that there had always been rumblings about Diddy's life behind the scenes. After all, this is a man who created an empire out of nothing, but even empires fall apart, and Dides collapsed when the authorities discovered text messages and testimony that directly linked him to an enterprise far more sinister than anyone could have ever imagined.
And if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been described.
It was a typical morning in Manhattan when word leaked out that Shan CMEs had been placed under arrest. The arrest garnered international attention, and for good reason. The charges against him included accusations of harassment and racketeering. This wasn't some Hollywood production. Folks, the evidence against him was solid. And what began as industry rumors quickly turned into a full-fledged legal nightmare for Diddy, with reports that federal agents had been piecing together a web of dubious activities and secrets dating back years.
Investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
Though the drama didn't end with his arrest. Once he was brought to Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, the reality of his circumstances struck hard. The Mech isn't exactly the kind of place you want to end up. It's notorious for its harsh conditions, where even the toughest people struggle to survive. This isn't a 5-star luxury facility. Retreat is a frigid, cruel place where you're lucky to get by on the necessities. In fact, multiple studies have criticized the facility for treating its prisoners inhumanely, with conditions ranging from dangerously overcrowded cells to starvation.
The government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being. They have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
There are constant lockdowns. People are left in total solitude for days on end, even in the Mech. And for someone like Diddy, who is accustomed to living in multi-million-dollar houses and jet settings throughout, these situations can wear you down more quickly than you would think. It's evident from what those close to Diddy have said that this place has broken him down in ways no one saw coming. Reports have surfaced indicating that Diddy's physical and mental health have rapidly deteriorated since his arrest. It's no secret that he's been struggling with his new reality. Diddy's world has been turned upside down. He's no longer the man with endless connections and allegiance of fans. Rumor has it that he was severely sad and cut off from the outside world for a significant portion of his time in solitary confinement.
That he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
The man who once oversaw rooms full of the biggest celebrities and was untouchable in the industry is now faced with an entirely different challenge. Survival. This isn't just about surviving physically, but also mentally. The isolation, constant pressure, and the long years in prison have reportedly pushed Diddy to consider doing something that nobody would have expected: cooperating with the authorities. Being trapped in a place like Mech with no one to turn to and no way to escape the harsh conditions has reportedly driven Diddy to a point of desperation.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his homes.
Things start to get extremely fascinating at this point, as you can see. Whether it's in the music business or in his personal life, Diddy has always been a man who knows how to play the game and get himself out of sticky situations. However, this time is different. Instead of having the same power and influence as before, he may have to spend the rest of his life behind bars, so he's acting desperately to save himself.
That means is the money that they're saying Diddy has to start paying this guy on October 1st, right. Diddy's team is like, hold on, we need an emergency conversation about why this should not have been granted. Mm-hmm. And they awarded him a TRO, which basically meant that Diddy's team was not allowed to sell any property in that state or anything related to what could be used to pay the plaintiff.
According to insiders, Diddy is ready to name names, expose secrets that have been kept hidden for years, and turn on the very people who once thought of him as an ally. The man who once thrived on power and secrecy is now at the point where he's willing to spill it all to the state. Diddy is reportedly offering up information that could implicate some of the biggest names in entertainment. Diddy is reportedly desperate to avoid spending years in a cell.
Mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
But what precisely is Da offering this is where things start to get crazy. Word on the street is that his renowned parties were something more darker for years than simply good times. And something more darker for years than simply good times in music. Diddy is well known for hosting the most opulent and exclusive parties, but behind the scenes, it appears that more was going on than anyone knew. Some of the most startling revelations to surface in recent months have come from victims who claim that Diddy used these parties as more than just a celebration, rather. They were traps meant to place people in vulnerable positions, and he recorded it all. That's right, Diddy allegedly kept recordings of these gatherings and is now using them as leverage to reach an agreement with the FBI. While this may seem like a desperate move, it's actually a brilliant play. By turning over these recordings, Diddy could potentially bring down a whole network of celebrities, politicians, and influencers who attended his events, all while saving himself from a long prison sentence. It's said that Diddy has incriminating footage, secret conversations, and personal interactions involving some of the biggest names in Hollywood and the music industry.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
If the rumors are accurate, not only will Diddy be exposed, but a whole network of prominent people with secrets they are willing to sell to the FBI for the highest price. Diddy is aware that the FBI is searching for exactly this kind of information, and his decision to cooperate could change the course of events for the entire entertainment industry.
And I remember, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside.
And I recall feeling as like I was within his monster's presence. I'm not sure whether you're familiar with the sound of his voice. And here is where we are right now. As Diddy gets ready to make his next move, everyone is waiting to see if he will turn on his former friends and allies to save himself, or if there is more to the story than we currently know. Diddy, who once stood tall at the top of the entertainment world, is faced with a decision that could have ripple effects. I remember thinking things like, I don't know if you betray the very people who once partied alongside him.
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
The next events will undoubtedly cause a stir in Hollywood, and the complete truth will eventually surface, trust us. It will be explosive when it does. Diddy's fall from grace is only the start. It's nearly hard to comprehend how quickly Shah's life has fallen apart. Diddy CS, it's crazy that this man's downfall doesn't end with him. Only a few months ago, he was living the kind of life most people only dream about: private jets, an opulent mansion, and endless parties with Hollywood's elite. However, he's now facing serious charges and, most shockingly, is set to reveal all the secrets of the glittering world he once dominated. D is about to reveal some of the biggest names in the business, and Hollywood is about to be rocked.
These are all allegations that have become shockingly familiar against Diddy in recent months, as he has faced lawsuit after lawsuit from women and men who have accused him of all manner of bad behavior.
The truth about Diddy's private parties is finally beginning to surface, and it's darker than anyone could have ever imagined. For years, these events were legendary. Everyone knew that if you received an invitation, you'd made it. The parties were lavish, exclusive, and always packed with the biggest names in music, movies, and sports. But what people didn't know, or at least didn't discuss, was what really went on behind the scenes. These were carefully planned events meant to gather information about the attendees. Now, Diddy is revealing all the details in an attempt to clear his own name. Let's begin with the victims who have come forward. It's no secret that many of the
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Guests at Diddy's renowned parties weren't there of their own free will. There have been several claims from people who claimed they were tricked into these gatherings and put in awkward situations. Some of these people, some of whom are well known, have told horrifying tales about what happened. They've talked about being coerced into risky situations, blackmailed, and more. One such tale that's going around involves a person who claims they were invited to a party under the impression that it would be a typical Hollywood celebration.